Listen, if you are going through life, chances are at one point or another, you've had a goal, you've had a dream. There's something that you've been trying to make happen. And in the midst of pursuing your goal and your dream, and listen, I don't know what that goal and dream is for you. Maybe perhaps you've been thinking about starting your own business. Maybe you've been thinking about making a career change. Maybe you've been thinking about writing a book. Maybe perhaps you've been trying to put yourself in position to follow your dreams, your goals, and your passion. But whatever that goal is for you, and even if I don't know what your goal is, here's one thing that I can guarantee you. The moment that you make the decision that you're going to pursue your goals and your dreams, the moment that you make a decision that you're going to go after this thing that you desire in life, here's one thing that I can tell you right now, and I'm going to save you a lot of time. I'm going to save you a lot of grief. I'm going to save you from throwing in the towel. Here's what I can tell you right now, that you got to expect to be tested. Listen to me carefully on this. You got to expect to be tested. There are some things that are going to show up. There are some things that are going to show up to challenge you and ask you, and life is simply extending an invitation to you. Life is simply asking you a question. And the question that life is asking you when these tests begin to occur, all that life is saying to you is, how bad do you really want it? I mean, seriously, how bad do you want to take your business to the next level? How bad do you want your marriage to be able to last? Listen, how bad do you want to realize your goals and your dreams? How bad do you want to make this career change? How bad do you want to get out of debt? How bad do you want to quit smoking? How bad do you want to lose the weight? That's all that life is asking you when you make the decision that you're going to pursue your goals and your dreams. And the moment that you make the decision, listen carefully, you will be tested. And so that's one of those things that they don't tell you. You see, a lot of times you're going to be hearing people that are going to be telling you all the time, pursue your goals and your dreams, have a big vision, make great things happen. You can do it. Have a, hold on to the vision. The law of attraction. If you think about something amazing, if you focus on what you want, then ultimately the God and the world will conspire to help you to make it happen. But here's what they don't tell you. Here's what they forget to tell you. Guess what? The moment you do make the decision that you're going to go after your goals and your dreams, the moment that you do make the decision that you're going to have a big, lofty vision, the moment that you do say that, hey, I'm going to have an amazing marriage, the moment that you do say to yourself that I'm going to be a great mom, a great father, the moment that you do say to yourself, I'm going to get out of debt, the moment that you do say to yourself, I'm going to quit smoking, the moment that you do say to yourself that you're going to pursue your goals and your dreams, listen, you will be tested, period. And that's one of those things that you absolutely need to know. I want somebody to type that down for me right now. You will be tested, period. It's one of those things that people just need to know, because I believe that is the missing link. That is the reason why most people get taken out by the test. Because there are so many people who are getting you excited about pursuing your goals and your dreams. So many people who are getting excited and telling you all the great things that you can do. And trust me on this, you can do it. And trust me on this, you should have a big goals and big dreams. But here's the thing that you need to understand. Here's what they forget to tell you. They forget to tell you, hey, huddle up, come back in, folks. Here's what I want to tell you. This is what they forget to tell you. Now that you are going to pursue your goals and your dreams, now that you are going to go out there and make some great things happen, now that you are going to write the book, now that you are going to start the new business, now that you are going to make the career shift, now that you are going to go ahead and make sure that you are a better mother, a better father, now that you are finally going to do all these things that you set out to do, here's what they forget to tell you. Wait a second. Just want to remind you, you will be tested. And that is what they forget to tell you. And I believe wholeheartedly that if you, every time that you made a decision to pursue your goals and your dreams, every time you made a decision to do something extraordinary with your life, I believe that if you simply understood that there is going to be, with that decision, that there is going to be some challenges, if you just simply understood that with that decision, there are going to be some setbacks, if you simply understood that with that decision, that literally life is going to ask you the question, how bad do you really want it? Then you would significantly increase your chances of making this thing happen. And I believe that that's where so many of us miss the mark. And so I got to be honest with you. I don't know at this particular moment. I don't know what it is that you're pursuing right now. I don't know what it is that is most important to you. I don't know what you're in the process of pursuing. I don't know what you're looking to change and shift in your life, but here's what I do know. That regardless of what that thing is, if you are seriously serious, notice what I said, if you're seriously serious and you're not just playing around, if you're not just curious, you're not just going through the motions, but if you're seriously serious about making this thing happen, and if you're serious, that's going to show up because of the fact of the way that you show up, the fact that you're going to take action and you're going to take some steps towards your goal and your dream. So that means if you're looking to start the business, you're taking massive steps towards starting a business. That means if you're going to make the career change, it means that you're taking some steps towards the career change. If it means that you're hoping to strengthen your marriage, it means that you're taking some steps towards strengthening your marriage. If it means that you're trying to lose the weight, it means that you're taking some steps towards losing the weight. If it means you're trying to get out of debt, it means that you're taking some steps towards getting out of debt. Now, if you're serious and if you're honestly going to make this thing happen, what I need you to understand is that you will significantly increase the probability of this thing happening in your life if you also accept the fact that along with your decision to make this thing happen, that there are going to be some tests. And the moment that you accept that, the moment that you realize that, then what happens is when the tests appear, you won't give up. You won't throw in the towel. And so, see, here's what the issue is. All too often, most people, the moment that they get tested, the moment that things begin to happen, guess what happens? Guess what? They throw in the towel. And oftentimes they throw in the towel prematurely. They throw in the towel just when things are about to take off. And so I'm sharing this with you not because it's theory, but because I've seen this in my own life. And I would even challenge you that if you look back at your own life and you think about any time in your life that you made a significant decision to act, to move, to do something in accordance with what you believe God has called you to do, whatever that thing is, that you would probably agree that in the process of you acting and making this thing happen, something showed up that really asked you, how bad do you really want it? I tell you this, I share this over and over again, but I got to share it because this is my truth. You know, when I made the decision that I was going to leave my corporate job as a CPA, and this was back in 2004, the moment I made that decision and I was just gung-ho on becoming an entrepreneur, I was gung-ho on realizing and trying to realize my fullest potential and trying to figure out what my purpose and my calling was. Let me tell you something. Shortly thereafter, I found myself in the middle of a significant test. You see, I literally took all of my savings and I decided to make a significant investment. And unfortunately, that investment went completely south and I lost all of my resources. And so here I was, I just made this decision. I left my corporate job and now here I am sitting down at the kitchen table with my hand on my forehead and asking myself, Andy, what just happened here? You literally just made an investment with everything that you had saved up and you have managed to lose your entire investment. And so now, what are you going to do now? Are you going to go back and ask for your job back? What are you going to do now? Are you going to throw in the towel on pursuing your goals and your dreams? What are you going to do now? Are you going to make the decision that maybe perhaps that this wasn't worth it? Maybe this wasn't necessarily for you. What are you going to do? Are you going to lean in, as Sheryl Sandberg would say? Or are you going to go ahead and fold your chips and go ahead and throw in the towel? And so let me tell you something. I got this close, so listen carefully, very, very close for those of you who can't see me right now. I got so close to throwing in the towel. And I'm telling you this, that the missing element for me was that nobody told me when I was in the process of pursuing my goals and my dreams. Nobody told me when I made the decision that I was going to leave corporate America and go a completely different path. Nobody told me, hey, Andy, it's great that you're looking to make some great things happen. But Andy, before you get out there and go after your goals and your dreams, before you get out there and try to make some great things happen, hey, Andy, come here for a second, buddy. Here, come here for a second. I want to tell you something. Expect to be tested. You see, nobody told me that. And because of the fact that nobody told me that, I would say I underestimated what the process was going to look like. You see, I didn't know that it was going to be as difficult as it ended up being. I didn't know that I was going to be in the process where I was going to second guess myself and be wondering if I made the right decision or not. And so maybe perhaps that's where you are right now. You made a decision to go after something in your life. You made a decision to do something significant. And along with that decision, though, has come a couple of setbacks. Along with that decision has come some significant tests. And maybe perhaps when you made the decision to move forward and make this thing happen, nobody took the time to tell you that you will be tested. Nobody took the time to tell you that the moment that you decide to move towards your goals and your dreams, that there are also going to be some things that are going to start to appear that is going to try to get you to throw in the towel and get you to go the opposite way. And if for some reason nobody told you that, allow me to go ahead and save you the time, allow me to save you the grief, allow me to sort of position you mentally and keep you from throwing in the towel prematurely by simply telling you this: expect to be tested. Understand that some things are going to happen that you're not necessarily going to anticipate. Some things are going to happen that are going to completely ruin your game plan. Listen to me carefully on this. Listen, I'll never forget this. This is way back in the day. You guys remember Iron Mike Tyson? I remember one time he was being interviewed, and it was a time that he was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And he was sitting across from this gentleman that was interviewing him. He was saying, hey, Mike, there's a lot of speculation out there. A lot of people are trying to dethrone you. They're talking about how, you're bound to eventually lose a fight. As a matter of fact, they say that you really haven't been tested in the ring. They say that your fighting style is very unorthodox. They say that nobody thinks that you can really go the distance. They say that at some point, your luck streak is going to run out. And so, yes, history would say that Mike Tyson was probably one of the greatest boxers of all time. But at that moment, I'll never forget this, Mike Tyson was sort of sitting there and he was looking at this guy who was interviewing him. And then afterwards, as the gentleman was sort of telling him this, the wonderful thing that Mike said, he said, you know what, all these guys who are talking about they're going to step in the ring and talking about the game plan or what they're going to do to dethrone Iron Mike Tyson and how they're going to take me out. One of the things that Mike Tyson said, and this will never, ever leave and escape my mind, he said this. He said that everybody has a game plan until they get hit. I want you to write that down. I want you to go ahead and type this down right now. I want you to realize this. Just focus on this little simple statement. He said that everybody has a game plan until they get hit. And so, see, here's what happens. Most of us, we spend a lot of time on the game plan. And let me tell you something. It's great to have a game plan. It's great to plan things out. It's great to say, hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and start this business. And so this is what I'm going to do to start the business. It's great to say, hey, I want to do a career shift. So this is what I'm going to do to create the career shift. It's great to say, hey, you know what? I want to live out my purpose and my calling. And so this is my game plan. These are the things that I'm going to do to start putting myself in alignment with that thing that I've been called to do. Listen, it is great to have a game plan. But here's what Mike Tyson was saying. Here's what he realized is that most people that have a game plan, and it's wonderful to have a game plan, but most people who have a game plan, they don't take any time. They don't take any time to prepare themselves mentally for the fact that there are going to be some hits. There's some things are going to show up. Some things are going to pop up that they completely did not anticipate. And I'm telling you right now, for me, when I made the decision back in December of 2004, to leave corporate America, I was super excited. I was gung-ho. I was like, listen, I'm going to make some great things happen. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I'm going to figure out what my purpose. I'm going to figure out what my passion is. Listen, I had no idea, and I did not anticipate the fact that literally within just a few months of me making that decision, that I was going to make one poor business decision and I was going to lose all of my savings. I did not know that something was going to pop up that's going to have me second guessing the decision that I made for myself. And so here's what I'm saying to you right now, that you've probably made the decision to do something extraordinary with your life. You've probably made the decision to do something really powerful. But the question is this: have you prepared yourself mentally for the fact that there are going to be some challenges, that there are going to be some setbacks, and some things are going to surface that are going to challenge your decision to do whatever it is that you've anticipated or whatever it is that you've set out to do. And so that's the key question. That's the thing that separates those who make it and those who don't. That's the thing that separates those who actually finish and follow through and those who actually throw in the towel. It's really the mindset. It's the state of mind. It is understanding that along with the process, that some things are going to happen that you didn't anticipate, and it is going to be your mental fortitude when those things happen and your willingness to keep pushing forward. And so once again, I have no idea. I honestly don't have any idea as to what it is that you are pursuing right now, as to what it is that you're looking to make happen for you. But one thing that I do know unequivocally, and I won't even second guess, is somewhere along your journey, somewhere along the path, somewhere when you decide to make the decision to do whatever it is that you've been called to do, that something is going to happen, something is going to surface, something is going to show up that is going to make you sort of literally question yourself and say, wait a second here, should I be doing this? Is this something that I should be doing? I'm gonna tell you, my brother, I'm so excited, super excited for my brother right now. He actually sold his house. He had a beautiful 4-bedroom home, 2-story house. He sold his home, he and his wife sold the home. They moved into an apartment, and the reason why they moved into an apartment is because they decided to go ahead and purchase an acre of land to build their dream home. And so they got a beautiful acre of land in a beautiful area in South Florida, and they're about to build a beautiful custom home. And I remember sitting down with my brother, and he was just sort of just telling me, hey, Andy, you know, I sold the house, man. We bought this piece of land. Listen, man, we're going to build our custom home, man. I'm super excited. And I could see how excited he was about the process. But this is his first time ever going through the process of building a home. And so because of the fact that I have, you know, purchased and sold quite a bit of real estate, he was just trying to get my input and so forth. And so I was just giving him some guidance and some direction. He was asking me if I knew of an architect and so forth. But when we were done with the conversation, I said, hey, Ralph, I just want to share something with you. And he said, Andy, what's that? I said, listen, man, I know you're really, really excited about building your home, man. And listen, I got no doubt in my mind, man, that everything is going to turn out exactly the way that you would love for it to. I'm sure that the finished product is going to be amazing, and you're going to absolutely love your home. But I said, man, let me tell you this. You are about to go through this amazing process of building your home. But I said, man, can I just remind you, just before you go ahead and push forward, man, can I just remind you that there's going to be some tests along the process. Some things are going to show up, man, that you completely didn't anticipate. There are going to be times that you go ask yourself the question, man, why did I even bother selling my home? Why did I even want to build this home, man? And I said, man, if you can remember this conversation that we're having right now, if you could set your mindset up and know that some things are going to happen that you're not going to anticipate, if you can fortify your mind, then understand that you will make it through the process. The only thing is that's going to throw you off is if you go through this process of trying to build your home, you go through this process of making this great thing happen, and you just don't set your mind up and literally prepare your mind to know that some things are going to happen that you're not going to anticipate. And as long as you know that some things are going to happen, as long as you know that you're going to be tested, as long as you know that some things are going to happen that you completely didn't anticipate, listen, man, I got no doubt in my mind that you will make it to the other side of the test. And so that's the learning lesson for all of us to know. You see, nobody's saying for you not to pursue your goals and your dreams. Nobody's saying for you to not to have big, lofty goals. Nobody's saying that you got to get up every day and be a pessimist and say, oh boy, what bad thing is going to happen right now. The only thing that I'm saying is I'm just trying to help you to get a certain mindset, to just understand this, that yes, you can make whatever it is that you're looking to make happen a reality for you. Yes, you can write the book. Yes, you can start the business. Yes, you can get out of debt. Yes, you can lose the weight. Yes, you can make some great things happen in your life. Yes, you can live out your purpose and your calling and the thing that you've been called to do. But understand this, that the moment you make the commitment and you follow that commitment with some level of action, understand that you will be tested. That's the only thing that I need you to understand. And if you can expect to be tested, and if you will simply do the second thing that I want you to understand, if you can anticipate the fact that there are going to be some hits, that some things are going to surface that are going to say, boom, how bad do you want it? And let me show you what some of those things show up with. Boom, you get called into the office and they say, hey, unfortunately, your services are no longer going to be needed. Listen, you got to anticipate the hits. You got to expect to be tested. Hey, your significant other calls you into the room and say, hey, listen, I can tell you this. Some things are happening right now, and now I'm starting to question our marriage. Listen, expect to be tested. Your marriage is going to be tested. Hey, listen, you make the decision that you're going to lose the weight once and once for all. Understand this. There are going to be moments that you're going to wake up in the morning, you're not going to feel like it. Or something's going to happen where there's going to be a conflict in your schedule. Or you're going to be super busy and you can't stick to your meal plan. Understand this. Expect to be tested. Hey, listen, you make the decision. Hey, you know what? I am finally going to go ahead and leave this career, leave this job, and go after my goals and my dreams and become an entrepreneur. Well, listen, the moment you make that decision, something is going to show up. Some kind of setback is going to surface, and you can literally anticipate that something is going to show up that you will be tested. Now, here's what I need you to understand. Once you know that, once you understand that, that's what equips you mentally to be able to push through and get to the other side. And so understand this. Most of us, unfortunately, we get taken out by the test. Most of us, unfortunately, we don't anticipate the hit. And so when we get hit, we abandon the game plan. When we get hit, we throw in the towel. Listen, if I'm talking to you in this message, if you know what I'm saying with you right now, if you look back at your life and you say, Andy, you're right, man. I look back and there's some moments I made some big decisions in my life and some things began to surface. And so now they're second guessing themselves and they're trying to figure out and they're saying to themselves, well, is it really worth it for me to write the book? Is it really worth it for me to start the business? Is it really worth it for me to stick into this marriage? Is it really worth it for me to continue to fight for my goals and my dreams? Is it really worth it for me to try to get out of debt? Is it really worth it for me to lose the weight? And the answer is, yes, it is. But understand, just because it is worth it, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Just because it is worth it, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be tested. Just because it is worth it doesn't mean that you're not going to get hit. Listen, life has a way of coming around the corner when you completely don't anticipate it. Life has a way of coming around and boom, hitting you right upside the head. All right? That's just part of the process. And when that happens, one of the things that I learned from one of my buddies, let me tell you something. I had a good friend of mine who, it was back in 2004, he had built a 7-figure business. And so his business was generating over $1 million in sales. But unfortunately, there was a shift that took place in the economy back in 2007, and he lost most of his major accounts. Not only did he lose most of his major accounts, but he had a lot of his huge clients actually cancel out on him and ask for returns because they couldn't fulfill some of their purchase orders. And now he went from having a 7-figure business to losing about 80% of his business, having 2 of his business partners actually bail out on him. And now he went from having a 7-figure business to now literally being in a place where he was over $500,000 in debt. Creditors are calling him. He's behind on his mortgage and he's asking himself the question every single day, is it worth it? Like, should I continue to push back? And I remember speaking to him at one of his darkest moments. And I'm talking about, I had called him and 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 called him, and he wasn't picking up the phone. And the reason why he wasn't picking up the phone is because he was hiding out. And sometimes we hide out in life when life is beating us up. When things aren't necessarily working out the way that we thought it was going to work out, we begin to hide out because we just don't want to talk to anybody. We don't want to talk about the struggle. We don't want to talk about the pain. We don't want to talk about the fact that we don't find the clients and we've been laid off, that we're having challenges with our health, that we're having challenges in our marriage, whatever it might be. Sometimes when we're going through some challenges and pains, we hide out. So my buddy was hiding out. And so I was trying to reach this guy forever and I just couldn't reach him. And so finally, when he began to come out of the struggle, finally, when he began to come out of the pain, we had a conversation. And I said to him, I said, listen, Nate, man, I got to ask you a question. I said, man, listen, man, I tried to reach out to you, man. I had no idea that things were that bad. I mean, last time we spoke, man, things were awesome. You had a 7-figure business, man. I had no idea your business partners bailed out on you. I had no idea you went into $100,000 in debt. I had no idea that you were backed up with payments. I had no idea that creditors were calling your house every single day. I said, man, but let me ask you a question, man. I said, you're obviously coming out of this right now. You're pushing forward with the business. Your business partners are out. And now you've gotten this business back going again. I said, man, what is it that you had to do? What was the mindset to get past this situation, to get through on the other side? And he said something with me that I'm never going to forget. He said something I'm never going to forget. He said, Andy, he said, I had to retreat, but I didn't surrender. I want you to listen to me carefully on this. Here's what he said. He said, Andy, I had to retreat, but I didn't surrender. Go ahead and type that down, somebody, right now. Type that down. Retreat, but don't surrender. Listen what he said to me very carefully. Listen what he said. He said, Andy, I had to retreat, but I didn't surrender. And so listen carefully. I had to process what he was saying. I said, well, what do you mean you had to retreat, but you didn't surrender? And so what I thought about and what I realized is this. Understand and listen to me carefully on this. When you set out to go after your goals and your dreams in life, and whatever that is for you, because unfortunately, I tell you this, I don't know what your goals and your dreams are. But what I do know is that you have everything that you need to be able to make this thing happen. But here's what I also know. Here's what I also know. That the moment you make the decision to act, the moment you make the decision to move forward towards your goals and your dreams, whatever that thing may be, to start the business, to write the book, to get out of debt, to lose the weight, to have a happy, fulfilling marriage, to be a great mother, a great father, whatever that thing is, listen, the moment that you make the decision to make this thing happen, understand this, you will be tested. And so what happens is, for most people, listen carefully, because this is the thing I got from my friend. For most people, when the test comes in and the test surfaces, and they don't anticipate the test, here's what they do. They throw in the towel. They give up. They say, you know what? Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Or you know what they say? You know what? Maybe this marriage isn't going to work out. And you know what they say? Maybe this business is not going to take off. Or you know what they say? Maybe I shouldn't try to do a career change. And so what they start doing is they start trying to convince themselves that it's okay to quit. They start to convince themselves to throw in the towel. But here's what I need you to understand. That when the tests begin to surface, number one, I don't want you to be caught off guard when the test surfaces, because understand that it is part of the process. You will be tested. That's why I told you earlier, expect to be tested, right? That was the lesson I showed you. But here's the other thing that I need you to understand, that when the test surfaces, sometimes you have to do like my friend Nathaniel did. Sometimes you have to retreat, but you do not surrender. And so here's what I mean by that. Listen, retreat means that life hits you, boom, catches you by the blind side. And now you sort of take this in, you say, whoa, I did not know that my marriage was going to be challenged like this. Let me process this right here and find out how I'm going to fight for my marriage. When you get blindsided and this all of a sudden now you're going after your goals and your dreams, and then all of a sudden something happens to challenge your business. You say, whoa, wait a second here. I didn't anticipate that this was going to happen, but let me process this and find out how I move forward. You see, when you make the decision that you're going to pursue your passion and the thing that you've been called to do, and life hits you with something that you didn't anticipate, sometimes you got to retreat for a second and be like, whoa, 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 that hurt. Whoa, that's painful. Whoa, that has me second guessing what it is that I want to do. Whoa, I did not see that coming. Whoa, this is really, really difficult. Sometimes you got to retreat for a moment. It's okay to retreat. It's okay to process. It's okay for you to say to yourself, man, I didn't think this was going to happen. I had no idea this was going to be this difficult. I had no idea that I was going to get blindsided. I had no idea that this person was going to let me down. I had no idea that I was going to get hit with this unexpected. I had no idea that I was going to have this health challenge. I had no idea this was going to happen. Whoa, let me retreat for a moment so I can go ahead and process this. However, you do not surrender. You see, surrender means that you've thrown in the towel. Surrender means that you've decided to give up. But see, what I'm saying is you do not surrender. You retreat so that you can learn. Somebody said, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. Somebody go ahead and type that down. Listen, somebody said, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. Listen, you are going to lose at times. Some things are going to happen. And with those things that happen, there's going to be a tremendous lesson. And oftentimes, I believe that those lessons are going to prepare you for the next stage. Those lessons are going to prepare you for the next thing that's going to show up. And so listen to me carefully. That literally, when you make that decision to go after that goal and make this thing happen, that you are going to get hit by the blind side. And sometimes it's going to be a very painful lesson. But understand this. When you lose, and we will all experience some losses sometimes, do not lose the lesson. And the reason why I say that is because oftentimes the lesson is what is preparing you for your breakthrough. The lesson is what is preparing you for your next stage. The lesson is oftentimes what you need to gain to be able to get to the place that you're looking to get right now. And if you can get that, if you can understand that, you understand that everything that you're going through right now, every challenge, every setback, everything that you are facing is all been set up to prepare you for your next level. And so if there's anything that you can get from this message that I'm sharing with you, it's just a couple of very quick and simple things. Understand this, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I wish that I was a mind reader. And I wish that I knew exactly what it is that you're pursuing right now in your life. I wish I knew your biggest heart's desire. I wish that I knew exactly what you're going after right now. And I don't. But here's what I do know. Here's what I do know. That whatever it is that you're pursuing right now, the moment that you make a serious decision, the moment that you make a serious commitment, one of my mentors told me a long time ago that commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling has left you when you said you were going to do it. I'm going to say it one more time. Here's what one of my mentors told me. He said, Andy, commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling has left you when you said you were going to do it. The moment that you make the commitment to pursue your goals and your dreams, we hear all the time, the moment that you make a commitment, things begin to surface, the right people begin to show up. But here's what you need to also know, that the moment you make the commitment, that there will be a test. And so all I'm asking you as a result of listening to this message is for you to simply understand this, that you've got to expect to be tested, expect to be tested, expect to be tested. Something is going to pop up that is going to question how bad that you really, really want it. There's something is going to pop up and say, wait a second, can you really make this thing happen? And when the test shows up, understand this, that you're only human. It is perfectly fine. It is okay if you decide to retreat for a moment. Wait a second. You retreat for a moment so that you can process what just happened. You can retreat for a moment. So if you've experienced a significant loss, you can find out what the lesson is. As I told you, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. But even though you retreat, you do not surrender. I kept telling you over and over throughout this message, expect to be tested. You decide that you're going to write the book, expect to be tested. You're going to take your business to the next level, expect to be tested. You want to take your business to the next income level, expect to be tested. You want to have a happy, fulfilling marriage, expect to be tested. You want to be a great mother, great father, expect to be tested. Whatever it is you set out to do, if it's worthy, if it's worthwhile, if it's noble, understand this, you will be tested. But here's what they don't tell you. Write this down. You were built for the test. Somebody type that down right now on the keyboard. Type that down. You were built for the test. You were built for the test. That is the last thing that they forget to tell you. And that is the thing that if you can get that to register if you can literally have that be ingrained on the inside, if you understand that no matter what test shows up your way, no matter what it is that comes your way, that you were built for the test. In other words, you have everything you need within you to be able to push past this challenge. And so there is nothing that is going to show up. There's nothing that is going to show up that you can't press through. There's nothing that is going to show up that you won't be able to get to the other side. Listen, you were built for the test. You were built for the test. You were built for the test. Go ahead and write that down. I need that to register in your brain. I need you to understand that right now. And so you need to understand that whatever this challenge is right now, whatever this test that's going on, listen, don't let it take you out. Don't throw in the towel. I need you to remember, you got to remind yourself, wait a second. I got an opportunity to listen to Andy Enriquez. He told me I got to expect to be tested. He told me I got to anticipate the hits. He told me there's going to be some losses, and when I lose, don't lose the lesson. But the other thing that Andy Enriquez told me is that I were built for the test. And so I'm built for the test. Yes, you were built for the test. And so what it means is that you've got some stuff in you that you can go through some serious challenges and you can push through. And the reason why I know this is because understand this, you've been here before. Listen, if you are within the sounding reach of my voice, understand this, you've already been through some tests and you've made it to the other side. And so the reason why I can tell you you're built for the test is because you've already overcome some past tests. And sometimes all we've got to remind ourselves, we got to say to ourselves, wait a second here, I've been here before. This is not my first time. And so if you could just remember that you've been here before, if you could just remember that the test that you're going through is only preparing you for the next level, if you could just look back and say, wait a second here, this is not my first time in my life that I've gone through something. This is not the first time in my life that somebody said something about me that I didn't like. This is not the first time in my life that I had to deal with a financial setback. This is not the first time in my life that maybe perhaps something popped up that I didn't anticipate. This is not the first time in my life that somebody that I was counting on let me down. Listen, you've been here before. And so all you have to understand is that, understand this, that you were built for the test. They can just know that whatever it is that they're going through right now, whatever test shows up for them, if they could just know that they were built for the test, that they can make it to the other side, if they're willing to just continue to push forward, if they understand that sometimes you got to retreat, process what happened, but you don't surrender, that they can get to the other side, then we're going to save a lot of people, and we're going to keep a lot of people from throwing in the towel and giving up on their goals and their dreams. Life does not have an easy button. And I'm going to tell you this also, when it comes to your goals and your dreams, when it comes to you doing the things that you need to do in your life, in order to have a fulfilling life, in order to have a worthwhile life, in order to have true contentment in life, guess what? You're going to have to choose to do hard. And so if you're a note taker, I want you to write that down. You've got to choose to do hard. The reason why I say that is because here's what I want you to realize, that there's a lot of things that you desire in life, that the only way that you're going to make it happen is if you go against the grain and you choose not to do what appears to be the easier route. You see, easy leads to mediocrity. Easy leads you to not accomplishing your goals and your dreams. Easy leaves you discontent. And so if you think about this, let's look at the landscape of the world right now, especially in the United States. Here's one of the things I need you to understand. About 70% of people who are waking up every single day and reporting to their jobs, and this is not me just sort of throwing out a number there, you can go ahead and research this. According to Gallup studies, 70% of people who are showing up to their jobs, who are getting up every single day and are showing up to their jobs, listen what's happening, 70% of them are reporting that they are not content. 70% of them are reporting that they do not feel engaged. 70% of them are literally saying, 70% of them are saying that, you know what, I'm showing up to this job and I'm doing this thing, but I don't feel it's in alignment with my purpose. And so they're just simply going through the motions. This has literally been researched and studied. Go ahead and Google it. Gallup studies, literally only about 30% of people are saying that they are really fulfilled and engaged and content in their jobs. And so you say to yourself, my goodness, Andy, why is it that 70% of people are showing up to jobs that they're not happy about? Why is it that 70% of people are going through life simply going through the motion and they're not making the things? I'm going to tell you why 70% of people are showing up to jobs that they're discontent about, why 70% of people are not feeling engaged. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because for many of them, it is easier for them to accept their current circumstances. It is easier for them to get up every single day, get in their car, fight traffic, and show up to a job in which they know that something inside them is saying there's got to be more than this. It is easier for them to accept their current reality than it is for them to actually do something about it. You see, because if they want to create a change, if they want to create a shift, guess what? It's going to be hard. Let me tell you something. It's hard to get outside of your comfort zone. It's hard to walk away from a job that you've been very comfortable with, that you've been used to. You know that if you continue to show up, that you're going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Listen, it is hard to leave that and go through a path of uncertainty. It is hard when you've been down one particular career path to make the decision to go down a completely different career path. It is hard to leave the comfort or the illusion of security of a paycheck every 2 weeks to now literally throw in the towel and get to a new place where now all of a sudden you're trying to figure things out. And so you might be saying, well, why is it? And I want you to look at this Gallup study. I want you to look at this. 70% of people are reporting to jobs that they hate, jobs that they're discontent with. And I'm going to tell you this. The reason why is because they're not choosing to do what's hard. And I can share that with you because I know what that's like. You see, for many of you, you may or may not know, before I took this path of becoming a storytelling business coach and an author and a keynote speaker and so forth, I used to be a certified public accountant. And I could tell you this, I'm going to be very honest with you. Making the decision to jump, in the words of Steve Harvey, making the decision to lean in the words of Sheryl Sandberg, making the decision to go after my goals and my dreams and pursue my passion and walk away from my corporate job back in 2004. Let me tell you something. I'll be the first to tell you it was hard. And you say, well, Andy, why was it hard? Listen, it was hard leaving that paycheck that was hitting my bank account every 2 weeks. Listen, it was hard to leave what appeared to be certainty and to pursue something that was completely uncertain. It was hard to be thinking about potential criticism and the judgment. It was hard overcoming the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear even of success. It was hard for me to convince myself that I could make the leap, that I could move forward. It was hard for me to get my mind around the fact that I had spent all this time getting my undergraduate degree in accounting, my master's degree in accounting, and then stepping out there and deciding to go a completely different path. Listen, that was hard. But let me tell you something. If I wasn't willing to do what was hard, I wouldn't be delivering this message to you right now. If I wasn't willing to do hard, this voice that you're hearing right now, it wouldn't exist. If I wasn't willing to do hard, then I wouldn't be able to say that some of my clients are major corporations. If I wasn't willing to do what's hard, I would have never been able to publish and write a book. If I wasn't willing to do what's hard, I would have never been featured in Black Enterprise, Huffington Post. I'm not saying any of that stuff to impress you, but to make you understand that all the things that you desire in life, the things that are going to bring you fulfillment, the things that are going to really, truly resonate with you, all those things are going to lie on the other side of easy. In other words, you're going to have to make the decision. You're going to have to make a choice. You hear me? Write this down. You need to choose to do hard. You need to choose to do hard. And so listen, I know that's not easy because you see, most of us don't want to get uncomfortable. And normally when you talk about doing something that is hard, it normally means that you're going to have to get uncomfortable. And most people subscribe to a life of mediocrity. Most people don't realize their goals and their dreams. Most people do not walk into their faith and their destiny because of the fact that they're trying to stay within their comfort zone and because of the fact that they're trying to make life as easy as possible. But listen to me on this. When you choose to do things that are easy, what many times what you are also doing by default is you are passing up on your destiny. You're passing up on that thing that you've been called to do. Let me tell you something. I know that right now that there's a different level for you. I know that right now, as you're listening to me deliver this message, that there is something that has your name written all over it. There's a business that's waiting for you. There's a new career path that is waiting for you. There's a different sense of financial security that's waiting for you. There's a different sense of fulfillment and enjoyment that is waiting for you. There's a different level of service that you can give and provide in your life. But what I need you to understand that all of those things are going to be along the route of a route that is called HARD. That route is hard. And the reason why the majority of people are not realizing their goals and their dreams, they're not living a fulfilling life, is because they're not willing to do hard. Here's another stat that I want to share with you. I want you to pay attention to this. Listen to this very carefully. 81% of Americans believe that they have a book inside of them, and they believe that they should write the book. Listen carefully. 81% of Americans believe that they have a book inside of them, and they believe that they should write the book. But yet and still, how many of them actually do it? Less than 5% who believe that they should write the book, who believe that they have a book in them. Less than 5% would do it. And so you say, why is it that 81% of people have a desire to write a book, but less than 5% will actually do it? I'm going to tell you why. Why? Because they're not willing to choose to do what's hard. Let me tell you something. Writing a book, don't let anybody tell you any different. Writing a true book that is going to make an impact, that is going to touch lives, that's going to inspire people, that's going to allow people to go to an entirely different level. Listen carefully, that writing a book, I'll be the first one to tell you, is in fact hard. Now, it's hard and it's fair. It's hard and you can do it. It's hard and it's worth the while. It's hard and you will make an impact, but it's hard. And you say, well, Andy, why is it hard? Why is it hard? Because listen, you have this magnificent idea, you feel inspired, and there are going to be times that you feel like writing, and there are going to be times that you don't feel like writing. There are going to be times when your thoughts and things are coming to you easily, and there are going to be times that they don't come to you very easily. There are going to be times when you write a complete chapter, and then all of a sudden you go back to reading, you don't feel good about it, you have to tear it up or delete it, and you got to start all over again. There are going to be times that you're going to literally be trying to sort of figure out how you're going to balance the time to write in the midst of all the things that you're doing, your job, your family, your wife, your husband, your children, and all your other responsibilities. I'll tell you why literally less than 5% of people actually write the book. It's not because they don't have the skill set. It's not because they don't have the capacity. It's because of the fact of why they're not willing to choose to do hard. And so what I'm saying to you is this, is that if you want to take your life to the next level, if you want to live out your greatest purpose, listen, let me tell you something. People ask me, and I don't know if anybody's ever asked you this, what is your greatest fear in life? And listen, without a doubt, I can tell you right away what my greatest fear is in life. My greatest fear in life is this. Listen carefully. My greatest fear in life is to not realize my fullest potential. That is my greatest fear in life, to not realize my greatest potential. I don't know what your greatest fear is. My greatest fear is to not realize my fullest potential. But here's what I understand, that with that fear, in order to overcome that fear, what I realize is there is a responsibility on my end. And you say, well, Andy, what is the responsibility? The responsibility on my end, the responsibility that is on my end is that I have to make the deliberate, intentional decision to choose to do the things that appear to be hard, to choose to do the things that appear to be difficult. That is literally one of those things that I realize comes as a part of a responsibility for the very thing that I want to accomplish with my life. And so what I need you to understand is this, is that you need to think about what is one of your greatest fears in life. What is it that is your greatest fear? And I can assure you that the only way that you're going to overcome that is if you have a willingness to do the things that to many people appear to be hard. And so if you want to have a fulfilling life, if you want to do the thing that you believe that you've been put on this earth to do, then guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to choose to do hard. If you want to have a happy, fulfilling marriage, then guess what? You're going to have to choose to do hard. If you want to write that book that's in you, you want to get it out, you want to change lives and impact lives, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to choose to do hard. If you want to go through life and not just simply go through the motions and just simply pay the bills and show up to a job and have very few people remember you or anything like that, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to choose to do hard. If you want to leave your mark, if you want to create a legacy, you're going to have to choose to do hard. If you want to serve with your life at a different level, if you want to go beyond a life that is just self-serving and doing the things that you want to do, guess what else? You're going to have to choose to do hard.